This is Open Mind, or Are You Open-Minded, by Alan Chitty. I want you to imagine, if you will, as a spectator in front of me, and I say to her, are you open-minded? And we have a discussion and we agree that it means flexible, willing to change your mind, and so on. And I say, but open-minded means something different to me. It means something to do with whether it's easy to read your mind or not. Would you like to see if you're open-minded? Would you like to take a test? And I say, I won't read your innermost thoughts or anything like that, but I will just ask you to think of an everyday object. Think of one of these everyday objects, and I give her the card with 12 everyday objects on it. Think of one of these everyday objects. And if you will, also think of a colour. Think of one of these colours: blue, orange, or red, or green. So in your mind, say to yourself your colour and your object, like purple sausage or whatever it is for you. Incidentally, I can have my back to the spectator throughout, or I can be in another room, or I can be on the other end of a telephone. I don't need to watch the spectator's reaction or anything like that. And I say, well, in a minute I'm going to ask you some questions, but just so that we have a trial, let me just try this one. Have a look at the card and look, if you will, at the coloured side. On the other side from black and white is the coloured side. Have a look on the coloured side, and if you will, think about your colour, not your object, the one you've got in your mind, just the colour for the moment, and look on the card and find the flower in that colour. And she says that she can, and I say, okay, well, when we're doing the test, I'll say something like, well, focus on that object or something like that. But so should we do the test proper now? Right, let's do the test proper. Look at the coloured side of the card and be thinking about your object, but not your colour. Just be thinking about your object, if you will, and see if on the card you can find your object coloured in blue. And she says she can, and so I say, well, just focus on it, think about it. Let me see if I can pick anything up, and so on. And I say, well, I can't. I need another go. Can you find your object in orange on the card? And she says, no, she can't. So I said, well, don't worry, red, find it in red. She says she can, and I try and read her mind and so on. And I say, I think I'm getting somewhere, but I'll just do a final check. Can you find your object in green? And she says she can, and I say, focus, will you? Focus. Yes, I think I know what it is. I think I'm getting it. And at that point, I pick up a pad and a pen, and I say, I'm going to draw what I think you're thinking about. Right, I've drawn on here what I think, what I've picked up from you. Now, am I right in thinking that it's orange? And she says, no, it's not orange. And so I say, oh, I know really, it's not an orange wine glass, is it? No. I say, what is it? And she says, well, it's a red knife and fork. And I say, that's very good, because that's exactly what I did pick up as we were thinking about it. But it wasn't easy to read your mind. I had to have 2 or 3 goes at it. But on the other hand, if there's a mind reader about, I should be rather careful if I were you. That's the end of the trick. I'd like to make 1 or 2 points about it, and then I'll say something about the explanation, the method. First of all, you can make it in stage size, of course. There's a stage size version. One two-sided card. We were using the close-up version. It could be ESP signs. It could be any symbols that you wanted it to be. In that case, there were nearly 50 objects there, 4 colours, 12 objects, but it could go up to 60 or possibly even more. It can be repeated immediately with different outcomes and different questions, though I can't see why anybody would want to repeat it immediately, but it is possible. What I showed there was probably the worst case. It certainly wasn't the best case. The best case is when at the end there, I'll talk about the method in a minute, I go straight to red, and that's probably marginally half the time that will be the case, rather than trying out orange. But all cases are quite acceptable and quite satisfactory. That's probably all I need to say on that at the moment. Let's just say something about the explanation. The first stage was to reduce the colours from 4 possibilities, her choice, to 2. And I rapidly established that it wasn't blue or green with my first question, my trial question, if you remember. Then into the main phase when she's looking at the coloured side of the card. That's based on, it's an improvement, a significant improvement of the Larry Becker card trick, in which he uses 4 suits, in which he needs to look at the spectator throughout the questioning, whereas, as I mentioned, I could actually be on the other end of a telephone. And so that was establishing what the object was. And then finally, the bluff method of establishing whether it was red or orange, because I didn't know at that stage. And the bluff method, which half the time is right and half the time is wrong, is, in my case, I guessed orange and it was red. So that's probably as much as we need to say about the method. Did I mention I carry 2 pens in my pocket, because it might be blue or green and it might be red or orange, as I've just explained. Oh yes, there is one other thing to say. There is very little, it's very simple, there's very little memory work involved. In fact, really, if you can remember that sequence, blue, orange, red, green, Borg, then really that's all the serious work there is to be done. That sequence, name of a famous tennis player, so not too difficult for people actually to remember. I think that's all I need to say, but obviously I can answer any questions. Thank you.